The Texas night is never truly dark. A light drizzle falls. Streetlights cast golden reflections on the wet asphalt, and somewhere in the distance, a police siren slices through the quiet of the suburbs. A black SUV pulls over to the side of the road, engine idling softly. Red and blue lights flash across its glossy surface, painting it with streaks that look almost like bleeding colors. 3 officers step out of the patrol car. Sergeant Mike Holtz, broad shoulders, cold eyes, and a smirk that always carries a challenge. Officer Dean, cautious, always following orders, never his own mind. And Paul, the rookie, still green, still learning how to hide the fear that flickers behind his eyes. Inside the SUV sits Lena Carter, a 38-year-old African-American woman. Her hair is neatly tied back, rain darkens her jacket at the shoulders, and her gaze remains steady behind the glass. She has just left a military medical conference and only wants to get home. But tonight, peace does not belong on this empty road. Mike steps forward and knocks hard on the window. "Driving like that this late at night? Or maybe you have something in the trunk you don't want us to see." His voice is rough, heavy, and dripping with threat. Lena lowers the window slightly. Her voice is calm. "I was not speeding. I am ready to show my license and registration." But they are not looking at her papers. They are looking at her skin. Dean snorts, narrowing his eyes. "Nice car. Is it really yours?" A heavy silence fills the air. Wind pushes the rain through the crack in the window, and the red-blue lights flicker across her face. Composed, but behind that calm there is something different. The stillness of someone who has looked death in the eye. Paul feels a chill crawl down his spine. He cannot explain why, but this woman does not seem afraid. Lena glances into the rearview mirror. Her eyes are sharp, measuring every distance, every camera angle, every possible exit. She does not argue. She does not beg. She does not fear. Only silence, the kind that makes armed men uneasy without knowing why. A moment later, Mike speaks, voice low and heavy with authority. "Step out of the car. We're going to take a look." And that is how it begins. The encounter none of them will ever forget. The Texas wind keeps howling through the trees. Lena Carter stands beside her SUV, hands visible, shoulders straight, eyes forward. She neither argues nor backs away. Every motion is deliberate, as if carefully calculated in seconds that could decide life or death. Lena, 38 years old, 15 years of service in the United States Army. She was once a combat medic, a woman whose hands stitched life back together amid the chaos of Afghanistan. She has seen things that make people age decades overnight. Blood, smoke, the screams of her brothers in arms, and the silence when a heartbeat stops. Since returning home, she has chosen a quiet life, driving an old SUV, teaching at a military medical academy. No boasting, no stories about the past. Yet the discipline of the battlefield still lingers in her eyes. Across from her stands Sergeant Mike Holtz, a man who believes that the badge on his chest gives him the right to judge anyone. He has been accused of abuse of power before, but never punished. In his mind, authority is a weapon, and tonight he intends to use it.
Beside him is Dean, the subordinate officer, avoiding eye contact, nodding whenever Mike speaks. And then there is Paul, the rookie, less than 6 months on the job, still calling everyone sir. But fear is growing in him now, because what he sees does not look like a routine traffic stop. The air grows thick, only raindrops tap softly on the car's roof. Dean shines his flashlight in Lena's face. She squints slightly, but does not flinch. Instead, she turns her head just enough to glance at the cameras, one on the windshield, one on the rearview mirror, and one at the back corner. She is not afraid. She is calculating. By now, the viewers begin to sense something unusual. An ordinary woman would tremble, plead, break down. But Lena does not. She stands beneath the flashing lights, surrounded by 3 men with guns on their belts, and yet her calm remains absolute. The audience begins to wonder, who is she, and why does she seem so composed, standing at the edge of danger? Mike stares at her, sneering. "You think staying quiet is going to scare me?" Lena answers smoothly, almost coldly. "No, I just do not want to say something you will have to apologize for tomorrow morning." The camera cuts to Paul's face. His eyes flicker, part admiration, part unease. He senses that this woman is not ordinary. Under the rhythm of falling rain, none of the 3 men realize they are standing face to face with someone who once saved dozens of soldiers and who has dealt with men carrying real guns, not badges.
The rain falls harder now. Patrol lights scatter across the road in chaotic flashes of blue and red. Mike barks an order. "Step out of the vehicle, hands on the hood." Lena unbuckles her seatbelt slowly. Every movement is precise, not hurried, not trembling. She opens the door, steps out, and raises her hands chest high, palms facing forward. It is a move only someone with military training would know, the kind that keeps everyone safe and avoids sudden misunderstanding when nerves are tight. Mike squints, mocking her. "Nice moves. What are you, some kind of cop show fan?" Lena gives a faint smile, lips curving just slightly. "No, it is just a habit." Dean moves closer, flashlight sweeping across her body. When the beam passes through the car interior, Paul, the rookie, freezes for a second. Hanging from the rearview mirror, he spots something glinting. A silver medal with a 5-pointed star. "Silver Star," he whispers. The Silver Star Medal, the 3rd highest decoration for valor in the United States military, awarded only to those who faced extreme danger to save others. Before he can speak again, Mike laughs dismissively. "Do not fall for that, kid. Antique shops sell those by the dozen." The tension thickens. Dean's hand rests on his holster, eyes locked on Lena. She, however, remains calm, opening her wallet and pulling out her documents. Not fast, not slow, controlled. The flashlight glides across her face. A faint scar near her temple catches the light, a silent reminder of a past no one here can imagine. She extends her papers. "This is my driver's license and registration." Mike does not take them right away. He just stares, squinting, searching for a reason to believe his own prejudice. But what strikes the viewers most is not her words. It is her eyes. Eyes that have seen comrades fall, that have waited for a rescue helicopter while artillery shells screamed overhead. Eyes that no longer know fear. For a few seconds, no one speaks. Only the sound of rain and the heavy breathing of Paul, who is slowly realizing that something about this night is very, very wrong. Mike finally growls, "All right, open the trunk. I want to see what you are hiding." Lena turns slightly, her gaze flicking toward the front-facing camera, the small red light blinking steadily. She knows everything is being recorded. She is not afraid. She is waiting. Because what is about to happen will not just be a car inspection. It will be a reckoning for arrogance and prejudice. Mike moves around to the back of the vehicle and signals to Dean. "Check the trunk. See what she is hiding in there." Dean glances at Lena. She remains motionless, expressionless. The headlight beam washes across her rain-soaked face, giving her an eerie, cold light, as if even the storm has taken a breath. Dean grips the trunk handle, but Lena speaks quietly, her voice low and clear. "You do not have an order to search the car. If you open the trunk, you will be violating my civil rights and your department regulations." Mike spins around, eyes widening. "Are you trying to tell me how to do my job?" He steps forward, heavy-footed, rain spraying from his boots. "Who do you think you are, talking to me like that?" Lena lifts her chin and looks him straight in the eye. Her voice is steady, calm, each word cutting the air. "I am someone who sewed the wounds of 14 soldiers during one artillery barrage in Helmand, and I am not afraid of your guns, Sergeant." For a moment, the world stops. Dean freezes. Paul gapes, not quite comprehending. Mike shows a flicker of surprise, then quickly reasserts his aggression. "Oh, you are a medic, are you? Then you should cooperate if you do not want to be handcuffed." Dean mutters, voice trembling. "Mike, I don't think this is right. Something is off." Paul, the only one still thinking clearly, slips out his phone and starts recording. The faint glow of the screen lights his face, revealing confusion and unease. At that moment, another car pulls up across the street. Headlights go off. A door opens. A black woman in a suit steps out, carrying herself with authority and confidence. "Who are you?" Mike snaps. She answers succinctly, pulling a card from her jacket. "Maya Green. I am a federal prosecutor. I happened to be passing by, and I witnessed everything. 3 officers stopping a woman with no sign of offense while using threatening language? Do you realize how serious this is?" The atmosphere rips in two. Mike stammers, trying to maintain a hard tone. "We're just following procedure." Maya raises an eyebrow, voice cold. "Really? Because I'm seeing you cross legal boundaries." Only then does Lena speak, voice low and oddly calm. "I recorded the entire incident on my dashboard camera. If necessary, I can call my commanding officer right now." Mike snorts in contempt. "Your commanding officer? Where do you work? The front desk?" Lena does not reply. She opens her wallet, takes out a card, and places it on the hood where the patrol light shines. The card gleams under the rain. It reads clearly, "Colonel Lena Carter, U.S. Army Medical Corps." The 3 officers go silent. Dean takes a step back. Paul almost drops his phone. Maya, the prosecutor, widens her eyes and murmurs, "Colonel Carter? Medal of Honor recipient in 2018? No one speaks. Only the rain pounding the road and the quickening breaths of 3 men who realize they confronted a war hero. Lena does not smile, and she shows no triumph. She simply looks at Mike, her gaze cold, deep, and tired. The thing that makes you feel powerful is the very thing that makes you weakest. Maya turns on her body camera. 3 officers, recorded, an eyewitness, and an Army colonel unlawfully threatened. You understand the consequences, do you not? Mike stands motionless. He has nothing left to say. Lena quietly closes her wallet, every action slow and precise, like an old ritual, like someone who survived war and has just won another battle, this time on her own soil. Maya Green pulls out her phone, voice sharp. Call Internal Affairs, now. The three officers look at each other. Mike goes pale, Dean hangs his head, and Paul stands still, hands clenched around the phone that is recording. Under the rain lights, three men who once felt untouchable now seem lost in the light of truth. 15 minutes later, an internal affairs vehicle arrives. Two investigators walk up and collect all the footage. Mike Holtz is handcuffed on the spot, his mouth stumbling, I did not know who she was. Maya replies softly, not with anger, but with the chill of judgment. And that is the problem, Sergeant. You do not need to know who she is to treat her with respect. Dean is led away too, head bowed, silent. Paul the rookie remains. When an investigator asks, he holds up his phone and says quietly, I have the original recording. I will submit it. She did nothing wrong. Lena looks at him, her expression softening. She nods. For the first time that night, her face relaxes. Within hours, the dashcam footage and Paul's video spread across the internet. Millions of shares, hundreds of thousands of enraged comments. The hashtag Justice for Colonel Carter appears everywhere. The footage is clear. Mike abused his power. Dean covered for him. Paul the rookie is the only witness who dared to speak up. The media reports nonstop. The police department opens an urgent investigation. The city mayor appears on television and publicly apologizes. We failed to protect someone who once protected this country. The next morning, at a press conference, Lena stands before dozens of camera lenses but does not speak much. Her voice is low, measured, and calm, far from the rage the crowd expects. If today I had not been a colonel, I might have been a victim. Justice should not depend on rank. It should depend on dignity. Those words echo across social media, are quoted on television, and headline major papers the next day. They are not just the words of one woman. They become a wake-up call for a nation. That night, Lena returns to base. She hangs her silver medal on the desk. In the quiet, she studies it for a long time. The medal that once shone amid smoke and gunfire, now reflecting the soft light of dawn. Another battle has ended. No guns, no blood. Only truth, and the courage not to bow. 6 months pass. The Texas rain falls again, but this time it is not as heavy as that night. Mike Holtz, the man who once raised his head beneath patrol lights, now walks out of court with cold steel around his wrists. He is sentenced to 3 years of probation for abuse of power and racial discrimination. His bowed head in front of television cameras, for the first time, is not from remorse, but from shame. Dean, who stayed silent, resigns from the force. He takes a night security job in a small neighborhood, avoiding all attention. People say that whenever it rains, he remembers the woman who did not look at him with hate, but with quiet disappointment. Paul, the young rookie, is commended for his honesty, but instead of pride, he chooses a different path. He joins an internal reform group within the police department and participates in training programs on transparency and human rights. I want to make sure what happened that night never happens again, he says. As for Lena Carter, she does not go online and she declines interviews. She returns to teaching at the Military Medical Academy.
One morning, she stands on a podium at the Pentagon and speaks to hundreds of young officers about ethics in power. She speaks slowly, eyes steady. Power is not in the gun. Power is in knowing when not to use it. The auditorium is silent. This is not a lecture. These are the words of someone who has tasted both power and the pain it causes. In the front row, Prosecutor Maya Green watches Lena. 6 months after the incident, Maya is elected the State Attorney General of Texas, the first black woman to hold the position. On her desk, there is a small photograph. Lena standing beside the black SUV, rain all around, eyes bright as steel. Under the photo, she writes a line, #Courage has no color. That is, courage has no skin color. That night, Lena drives back to the intersection where she was once stopped. She watches the patrol lights reflected in the rearview mirror. No more fear. No more anger. Just a small, quiet smile from someone who knows that sometimes justice begins with not bowing down. If this story makes you believe that dignity does not need permission to be respected, share it.